Hello friends, this is Tenacious Earl with the beginning of the 2008 Super-Advanced Playoffs based off of my Phillies replay. So we're going to start right out. We have to kind of play these games in chronological order for how they would be run in Stratomatic PC, because I want to try and upload these things as I go. And so game number 1 is going to take the Philadelphia Phillies out to Wrigley Field to face the Chicago Cubs. Cole Hamels will get the call for the Phillies as opening game starter here of the playoffs, while Ryan Dempster will be the one who tosses the ball to home plate for the Cubs. So, not a matchup that happened in real life. As I said, this is based off of the finishing order in my Phillies replay. And so, the Dodgers were the 1 seed. They get to face the Brewers, and the Cubs get to host the Phillies, who the Phillies, I think, the Brewers did finish below them as wild card, but they were the lowest seeded division winner. And if you remember in real life, I believe the Cubs may have been the top seed, but they couldn't face the Brewers because they're in the same division. So that's why the Brewers ended up facing the Phillies, who actually had a better record in real life than the Dodgers. And so that's why, in effect, the Cubs kind of got messed up by that rule, I would say, and maybe they got a rough go of it from a team that was probably, in a 5-game series, anything can happen. A race to 3, anything can really happen. Short series, and the Dodgers in real life beat the Cubs, but here the Cubs are going to face the Phillies. Maybe a better matchup. We will see, but let's get right to the action. Phillies at Cubs, game 1 of the NLDS. The first one for the Tenacious Earl's 2008 Super-Advanced Playoffs. Let's get right there to the action. Okay, so here we are at Wrigley. It is an October evening, night game. So we will be starting the Chicago National League Park in October. We're going to use the night numbers, so 1 to 4. We will roll for weather. 16 will be bad weather, so not a good night at Wrigley for a ball game, but they will still play it either way. So 7s on singles for both sides of the plate, and then 5 for the power hitters onto Waveland Avenue and such. So let's get to the action here. The lineup for the Phillies, I'm kind of like the way that the Phillies lined up towards the end of the season, so I decided against a righty that they would alternate Utley and Howard, and separate them with Worth. So Rollins will lead off at short, Utley second base, Worth right field, Howard first, Burrell left field. So you've got switch, and then left, right, and then you got Victorino center field, who's a switch hitter, and then you got Felice third base, Ruiz catching, and Hamels pitching. And just to mention it right off the bat, so they'll be facing Cole Hamels, Phillies ace lefty. It'll be, this is basically, the Cubs did not face a lefty when they went against the Dodgers. So I had to discern what would have been done, and I think this is how they would have lined it up. So it's pretty close to what the lineup they used, except I made a couple changes. Against all of the Dodgers righties, or at least the first game, Fukudome hit second. Well, I'm putting Reed Johnson in center, batting second, and bringing Jim Edmonds out because he's a lefty. He'll probably face Brett Myers in game 2, kind of platoon there with Johnson. But anyway, Soriano in left will lead off, then Reed Johnson in center, Derek Lee first, Aramis Ramirez third base. So right-handed heavy top side of the lineup there for the Cubs. And then you've got Giovanni Soto catching, batting fifth. And then from there, Mark DeRosa. It was a toss-up between DeRosa, Mike Fontenot. Fontenot against the lefties, a no-go. So then it's Ronnie Cedeno. And it seemed like DeRosa was getting the run out late in the season for them. So I decided, and he played in... He played in the playoffs at second base, so it became somewhat academic that he would play at second base. Then Fukudome in the 7 spot, batting in right, or playing in right, sorry. Ryan Terrio, shortstop, will bat 8th, and then Dempster rounds out the lineup. So here we go, first game of the NLDS. Philadelphia at Chicago. Tied at 0, and it's Jimmy Rollins leading off against Dempster. And he's batting from the left. He will draw an opening walk. So, Dempster-Soto combo is a -1 when it comes to holding runners. We know Rollins likes to get a jump. He needs a 4, 5, or 6 on the blue D6s, and he doesn't get it, so... Gonna, with a -1, then it doesn't make it so favorable for him to be stealing. But what we will do, because they're holding him on, we will take Utley's hit and run rating, which is an A, and we will roll that off here. And 5-5 off the pitcher's card against a lefty, that is a strikeout. Now, for an A hit and run guy off the pitcher's card, we use a separate chart. And what that ends up being is a ground ball to first that advances the runner. So that play will be made by Derek Lee, and that'll be out number 1. So now Jason Worth with Rollins at second. Another 5-5. That's a strikeout. So 2 outs, and Dempster sees his way out of the opening frame. Ryan Howard, who hit a bunch of home runs. 2-9, and he is going to strike out. So 2 strikeouts to end the first. And through 1, it's no score. So Soriano, we got to remember we go off the left side of the cards here for the Cubs since it's Cole Hamels. And Soriano will lead off. And that's a 5-9 against a righty. And he may lead off with a bomb. 1-8 normal home run. It'll be a double. So Soriano leads off with a double. And it'll be Reed Johnson now. Against a righty, 5-3, a grounder to first X. So that'll be Ryan Howard, a 4 range. Now he's not having to hold anybody on. 4-19, he does get to it. The runner will move to third, though. And will he make the play? That is an 8 on an E20, and he does make the play for out number 1. So... Hamels will face Derek Lee now. Needs a strikeout would be huge here. 6-4 righty. Grounder to short. They're playing back. This will score a run. And that's going to be a grounder that Rollins gets, and he'll make the play. 6-3. They will concede the run. 1-0 Cubs, and Aramis Ramirez, nobody on and 2 out. And he will draw a 2-out walk and bring up Giovanni Soto. So Hamels struggling a little bit here in the opening inning. That is a 2-7, and that is a single. He's going to be first and third with 2 outs, and it's going to bring up Mark DeRosa. This could get ugly quick here for the Phillies. First and third, 2 outs. Big out here for Hamels if he can get it. 1-7, and he gets him to strike out, and that will end the inning. 1 run for the Cubs on 2 hits, 2 left on base, and we will be right back. Okay, so Phillies find themselves down by a score of 1-0 already. Top of the second inning, Pat Burrell will lead off against Dempster. And that is going to be another strikeout for Dempster. 3 of them so far. He cruises. Aside from the leadoff walk, he has been very good. Victorino now. Batting from the left side, 4-8. That could be a potential triple. 1-4. That'll be a single for Victorino, which could be as good as a double if he can get a lead. And he will try with Phillies at the plate. So he needs a 2 through 5, or an 11 or a 12. An 8 he will not be able to. With 1 out and the bottom of the order up, I think he's going to try a second steal number. So that's is he? No, he's not. Not with 1 out. Maybe with 2 outs we'll do that. So Pedro Feliz with Victorino at first. Double play candidate here. 5-7 righty, grounder to second. This is going to be DeRosa. So it is righty Feliz. So that means DeRosa is responsible for the runner. That means that he is going to be a 4E17. So does he get to have the range to do it? 4 and 6. That is going to be a single, but only 1 base advance, and then he is an E17 and a 7. It won't be an error. But back-to-back singles for the Phillies put them in business. That'll bring up Carlos Ruiz. More of a defensive catcher than a hitter, but he can occasionally surprise. And here he's going to get a ballpark single, 1-7. That would load the bases if it can sneak to the just past the third baseman. 1-7, but it's a 16. He's going to hit a liner that actually shortstop was able to grab. That's Terrio for 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Cole Hamels. 2 down. Can Hamels come up with a big hit here? Needs a 1 column or something off of Dempster's card. 5-4 catcher X. Can the inning be extended here? Giovanni Soto 2E3. 2 and an 8. I think that is going to be fine. He will, well, potential passed ball, I suppose. That comes off the pitcher's wild pitch rating. Well, first we need to see about the error. 13 on an E3. So no error, but if it's a 1-5 here, that would be a passed ball. Everybody will move up. But it's an 18, so in that case, it will be a foul out. We had an 8 before, I believe. No. Yeah, it was an 8, so that'll be a foul out. So that's that. Sorry, so 2 hits, but no runs for the Phillies. They leave both those guys on base, and we will go to the bottom of the second. Have a little memory lapse there. It'll be Kosuke Fukudome. We moved him down in the lineup. See if that was a mistake. 2-7 against a lefty is going to be a single. So already 1 for 1. Fukudome. See, Hamels is a 0, -1 for Ruiz. So basically the same pitching catching combination as the Cubs. And a 7 means that Fukudome gets a lead. So it'll be subtract 2 and then a subtract another 1. That's a 1-14 chance. He's going to be a little bit daring here and try to take a 1-14, and he gets there. So Stolen base, you can be a little more, what do you want to call it? A little more adventurous with the lead. Terrio now. 6-7 against a righty. Ground ball to second base will move the runner up. That is going to be Chase Utley 2E14. And also Terrio is a righty, and they would have been holding, so that makes Utley a 3 and an 8. That is going to sneak through for a single, and that's going to score another run. Guess we should check the error. No error, but 2-0 now, and nobody out. So, look like at least Utley would get to it, but because they had to hold Fukudome at second, and we're always going to play that they're holding a guy at second with Star, so that's how that went. So, Dempster coming up to bunt. He is an A bunter, except they're going to play the infield in, so that makes him B, or the corner's in, B9. That will be a solid sacrifice, and that will be made by the third baseman. That play, that Felice will throw to first. And the runner advances, so Soriano comes up, doubled in his first appearance. Cubs looking like they could be in for more here. Righty 6-2, a 1-2 would be a single. That's 20. It'll be a line out caught by Rollins. Out number 2, Reed Johnson. Against a righty, 4-8 strikes him out. And that will be it for the inning. But they do get another run, so 2-0 through 2, and we will be right back. Top of the order now for the Phillies, as they need to mount a comeback here at Wrigley. They're already down 2-0, and it'll be J-Roll leading off in a 1-10, and he's got a chance at least a single, 1-10 double chance, and it'll be a 14, so he will single. Just like Fukudome did last inning, he's going to try to get a lead here. 6 means he does, so you add the 2 blue dice, and he gets a 6. 4 through 6 is good, so that makes him 19. You subtract 2 for being held, makes it 17, and then you subtract 1 because that's the pitcher-catcher combo. So that's a 1-16 chance here, and he is successful in stealing. Could have hit and run there, but instead we're going to have him take the base naturally and maybe give Utley a chance to score him with a single or more. So Chase Utley now, 2-9. That'll be a fly ball to right field, which will be caught. Rollins is going to try to get to third base. So need a refresher on that. Going to be the running rating plus the outfielder's arm plus 2. So right fielder is Fukudome, a -2 arm, and then you add 2 for it being right field to third base, so they cancel each other out. So it's a 1-17. But I believe it's also a 1-17, and then 18 and 19 he would stay at second. Let me double check my rules here, as I want to play this right, and it doesn't happen a ton. If they're rather oh wait. Wait. My bad. That was a 2-9 righty. That's a B question mark. On a question mark, that he cannot move, so we have to stay there. My bad. Jason Worth now. To 8, and he's got a 1-6 chance at a home run here. Jason Worth, one of the heroes down the stretch. Can he get a 1-8? This would tie it up. Will it be? It is out of here. Home run, Jason Worth, and it is a tie ball game. He takes Dempster out of the park. And just like that, the Phillies are right back in it. 2-2. So that brings up Ryan Howard now. 1 out, nobody on. And a 1-8. That'll be a fly ball to center field, and that'll be caught so close to back-to-back home runs there. That was a deep fly ball, but not deep enough. So Pat Burrell with 2 outs now. And 5-3 against a righty. It's a fly ball to right. Going to test Fukudome's range. 2 range and 8. He gets there. E6. 10. He will make the play. But the Phillies put up a 2 spot and tie the ball game on Jason Worth's big 2-run home run. So we're back to square one in the bottom of the 3rd. And it'll be Derek Lee leading off. Grounded out to Rollins his first time up. 6-8 righty, and that's going to be trouble for Hamels. 1-13 is a double, and that is a 17, so a single here for Lee. Lee not being held on. He'll try to get a lead here. 10 can't do it, so let's go to Ramirez. And first, what's Ramirez going to do here? 3-5, and a 3-5 is a walk, so better than a stolen base. You get a guy on first, and you get the guy to second. So, Cubs threatening again. It'll be Giovanni Soto with a big pop in his bat. 2-7, and a single will score, and the Cubs will go ahead again. Relentless here today. Ramirez will end up at 3rd on a single 2-star, and this is not Hamels' day so far. 3-2, Cubs on top. Mark DeRosa. Soto at first. That's a 3-9. Fly ball to left field. That'll be caught out there by Burrell for out number 1. Runner will have to hold. Fukudome. Lefty 5-8, 1-4 home run. Would not want to have that 3 roll now. 1-8 normal home run. He is weak power though against lefties, so that. Oh, and it's a 1. It's lucky. That will be a single 2-star, 1st and 3rd. Actually, run's going to come home too. I forgot about it. Ramirez being at 3rd, and that is going to make it 4-2. So the Phillies got rid of the lead, and the Cubs take it right back. So bad luck there for... Oh, well, you know what? That's why I forgot about him. Let's fix this. So this will be 6. This is going to be a sac fly to left, because that was fly ball B. So Soto couldn't move, but Ramirez came home on that. Fukudome doesn't get an RBI. That's just going to be a base hit, but it's going to make 1st and 3rd again. The Phillies are going to have to play with the infield in here. Ryan Terrio. They're going to go talk to Hamels on the mound. They're going to get Jay Happ warming up. So 4-2 with runners at 1st and 3rd, and it's going to be Terrio at the plate. 5-7 righty, fly ball to center field. That'll be another sacrifice fly, deep enough to score Soto. And it's now 5-2, and the Cubs are rolling. Dempster to the plate with Fukudome at first. Fukudome will try to... Well, he might get picked off. I was going to say try to get a lead, but he may get picked off here with a 1. 1-6, he's safe. And it's a 6, so he is, but he can't get a lead. So Dempster, 5-6 righty, fly ball to right. That will end the inning. So long inning there for Hamels. 3 runs on 3 hits, and he has looked a shell of his normal pitching self. We will go to the 4th with the Cubs taking Hamels out here to the backyard and taking a whooping out of him. All right, Victorino got to start over again. 6'5", batting from the left, and he strikes out. And now Pedro Feliz, 2-9, and he's going to ground out to Terrio for out number 2. And Carlos Ruiz. He'll have a 1-7 single chance, would turn the lineup over, but it will be a liner. Caught by Aramis Ramirez, 1-2-3 for Dempster. Thought this could be a pitching duel, but instead it's kind of turned into a bit of a rough go of it. So, bottom of the 4th. I don't know, the Phillies may have to make a move to the bullpen after the bottom of the 4th here. Hamels may only get 4 innings in. Soriano to lead off. He is 1 for 2, 5-11 against a righty. 1-7 ballpark single, and everything's coming up roses for the Cubs today. 4 or 6 for Soriano, even with a lead, and he gets a 7, so he won't. For Reed Johnson though, at the plate. 6-8 righty, and in more trouble, Hamels is getting everything come off of the worst parts of his card. That's a double with 2 stars. He might not even be able to make it out of this inning. So, the Phillies will get Clay Condrey up in the pen, and Derek Lee will come up. They're going to play infield in, second and third, nobody out. Got to try to cut off the run at home if they can. 2-6. Well, that is going to be more trouble, and this is going to be the end of Hamels' day. 2-6. 1-19 is a double, and that's going to score 2. Good night, Cole Hamels. That is a rough go of it. So, pitching change. We will be right back. Okay, so manager went to the home plate umpire and had the lineup card out. So a little double switch here, bringing in Greg Dobbs to play third base, and Clay Condrey will be the pitcher here. He will face Aramis Ramirez with Derek Lee at second base. It is 7-2 Cubs dominating here in game 1 of this 5-game series. So Aramis Ramirez at the plate. 1-7, that's a strikeout. So Condrey gets it started in the right way. So Giovanni Soto now. I think I forgot to roll this. Let's just do that. Okay, now we'll roll it for Soto. And there's a 1, so that means a potential wild pitch. 1 or 2, and it's a 9. Didn't go off the table, so no wild pitch. Soto against a righty, 5-12. First base, X. It's Ryan Howard. 4E20. 4-13. He will get to it. E20 and 13. And that will be an out. Runner will move. And I'll bring up Mark DeRosa, who has an RBI on a sacrifice fly. He also struck out. 2 outs. 1-7, and he is going to ground it to short. And fortunately, the infield wasn't in with 2 outs, because that would have snuck through. But instead, Rollins will make the play, and 2 runs on 3 hits, chasing Cole Hamels. And we will go right straight to the 5th here, with the Cubs ahead 7-2. Phillies continuing to struggle here in. They finished the season losing 3 to Washington, and they haven't turned it around yet. So Greg Dobbs will lead off here against Dempster. Phillies need to get something going. 5-10. Lefty grounder to short. Terrio 3E16. 3-11. He'll get to it. E16. And a 12. He makes the play for out number 1. J-roll. 1 for 1. Run scored. Stolen base. 6-7. From the left, he'll walk. He's been on base all 3 times now. He will try to get a lead here and see if he can steal another bag. 7, though, he won't with 1 out. Chase Utley will come up. 4-8 lefty, and that's going to be some more trouble for Dempster. 1-4 triple, and it's a 4. So Utley will triple, and that will score Jimmy Rollins all the way from first. Rattles around in the outfield, and that's going to make it 7-3. So still some life here in these Phillies. It'll be Jason Worth now. Already gone yard, 1 for 2. 6-10 against a righty. Well, that's a ballpark single. 1-7 would score Utley from third. And that's an 8. Liner to short. So close. So that's second out. It brings up Ryan Howard. Howard 0 for 2. Can he come up with a big hit? 6-8 lefty. He needs a 1. A 1 would score Utley. Otherwise, it'll be a line out to second to end the inning. Oh, and it's a 1! In comes Utley. Big batch of luck there for the Phillies. The inning keeps going. Looked like had the glove on it, but just sneaks away. It was a really tough play for Terrio. And or not Terrio, DeRosa, but he just cannot do it. So 7-4. Philly's still not out of it, and Pat Burrell comes to the plate with Howard at first and 2 outs. Cubs have to start thinking about some bullpen action now. 2-8. 2-8 is a grounder to second, shortstop, and that will end the inning as Terrio throws to first. But the Phillies do get 2 runs. They cut the lead to 7-4. And we will move right into Condrey, going to continue. And he'll face Kosuke Fukudome. Lefty 4-2, grounder to second base. Utley throws to first for out number 1. Easy play for him. Ryan Terrio, 1 for 1 with a sac fly and an RBI. Actually, 2 runs batted in this game. Whoa. That is 4-8 righty. That's a grounder to third. For out number 2, my hand was able to keep it on the table. And now the pitcher's spot. And Cubs are going to get some activity in their bullpen. And let's see. I think they're going to... It'd be Bob Howery. So they're going to pinch hit for Dempster. They see him starting to fade a bit, and we'll be right back with the move. Okay, Mike Fontenot will pinch hit for Dempster. So the Cubs are going to make their way to the bullpen here, heading into the 6th. So Fontenot with 2 outs, 2-7. Well, he's going to get a pinch hit single, maybe a double. Can he stretch it? And he doesn't. But, well, it'll be Alfonso Soriano now with 2 outs. Runner at first. 2-4. That's a grounder to second, or grounder to short plus injury. So 6-3 is the put out. So no runs on 1 hit. Now, injury chart. I haven't done an injury in a long time. Super-Advanced injury chart. There it is. Okay, so total of this player's at-bats is greater than 599 at-bats and walks. Ignore the result next to the dot. And consider the player to be injured for 3 games. So Soriano, 453 and 40, so 500. So let's see what is going to go on here for Soriano. Gets injured on the 2-4. And let's see what happens. It's an 8. He'll be injured for the next game. So they're going to have to make a switch here with him. So we'll be right back. Soriano coming out, looking like he pulled a little hammy or something. So we'll be right back. Okay, so Bob Howery will be the pitcher for the Cubs. It is still 7-4, Chicago on top. Double, well, actually just somewhat of a double switch here. Well, it's just Mark DeRosa will move to left field here in the 6th from his spot at second, and they're going to put Fontenot and leave him in the game in the 9-hole playing second base. And then the pitcher will go into the top spot. That's going to be Howery. So he'll face Shane Victorino leading off here in the 6th. Against a righty, that's going to be a fly ball to left, and it will be caught by DeRosa, taking his first fly ball out there and left. Now the pitcher spot, the Phillies have Happ warming up. And they will bring Stairs in. Well, they no. Let's. So here in the 6th, we have a pinch hitter for the pitcher. That'll be Jeff Jenkins facing Bob Howery for against a lefty, and he's going to find a way to single off of Howery. So Phillies, not a ton of depth as far as being able to bring in a bunch of pinch runners and stuff like that. They're going to leave Jenkins there, and now it'll be Carlos Ruiz facing Howery, 1 on, 1 out. Against a righty, 4-3 fly ball to left field. This is going to be DeRosa, 4-3. 4 and a 19. A shallow fly, he'll get there. And then an E3 and a 13. Will he get to it? That's a good question. I think he will, but yep. That one will be made for out number 2. And Jenkins will retreat to the bag. And now it's Greg Dobbs in his first appearance, or no, his second appearance, excuse me. Seeing if he can face Howery here. Well, the Cubs didn't have anybody warming up, so he will have to face Dobbs. And it's a 4-6 against a lefty, grounder to second. It's going to be Fontenot in the game, 2-E4, and not having to hold Jenkins on, not a good runner. 17, he gets to it. And a 15, now that's a good question. E4 and a 15. Makes the play, so that will end the inning. So no runs, 1 hit. We'll come back for the bottom of the 6th. It's 7-4, Cubs on top. Okay, so our fictional 2008 Phillies playoff project here continues with the Phillies. We played out the Phillies season on the cards and dice here, but they are having a struggle in this first game of their playoff against the Cubs. Obviously, they didn't play the Cubs in real life and currently are down 7-4 in game 1. Hamels was chased after 3 innings and change. So Reed Johnson will lead off here against J. Happ, relief pitcher coming in, lefty. 1-3, that'll be a grounder to first base, and Howard will come to first with it for the out. Jog over there, Derek Lee. 3-11, that's a grounder right back to Happ, and Happ makes the play. And now Aramis Ramirez, who has walked twice and scored and struck out, 2 outs, 6-9 against a righty, and he will get a 2-out single, his first hit of the game. Ramirez with a 3-run lead, not going to try stealing here. Giovanni Soto, power hitter. Can he go yard here off a Happ or just get another hit? 1-8. Well, that's a fortunate one. That's a fly ball to right, and that will be caught by Worth. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Go to the top of the 7th. Cubs going to go back to the pen. They're going to bring in Sean Marshall. As a lefty with Utley and Howard both coming up. So Jimmy Rollins will lead off against Marshall. And that's going to be a grounder to short. And Terrio has it on one hop. And he throws to first. So Chase Utley now with one away. He'll ground it to second. And Fontenot in the game a couple innings ago. He will come in for it, throw to first, sidearm, make the play. 2 outs, Jason Worth. Righty 5-9, and Marshall strikes him out. And that's going to be that. So we'll go to the bottom of the 7th, the stretch time. And the Phillies will stick with Happ here into the bottom of the 7th against the Cubs. And it will be Mark DeRosa. And DeRosa will face Jay Happ. 1-8 strikes him out. So 2 strikeouts for DeRosa on the day. 0 for 3, but he does have an RBI on a sacrifice fly. So Fukudomi 2 for 3 here so far. Lefty. 5-10 against the lefty catcher X. Ruiz at 2-2. 2-11 is going to be like a foul out. Nope, that'll be a pop out as long as doesn't get an error roll, and he doesn't. So that'll be a pop out to the catcher. 2 outs. And Ryan Terrio. 3-7 will draw a walk, and that's going to bring up Mike Fontenot. Terrio, does he run much? He must run some. Yeah, he's going to try to get a lead here. 4, he gets it, so 15. Well, maybe you shouldn't have done. Well, it's okay. 15 minus 2 and then minus 3. 1 to 10 chance. But he gets thrown out. So that's going to be a caught stealing. Ends the inning. So no runs for either team in the 7th. Fontenot will lead off the 8th for the Cubs. And I don't know if he'll face Happ. All right, so we'll go to the top of the 8th. Phillies down 7-4. Going to have a couple big hitters coming up here, and the Cubs will get Carlos Marmol warming up. So they'll probably make the move to Marmol once Burrell comes to the plate, gets announced. So Ryan Howard leading off, and that's a 3-4. He's going to strike out against the lefty, and we will be right back after the pitching change. Here comes the manager. Here, we'll be right back. Okay, so Carlos Marmol comes in to set up Kerry Wood, and so Burrell with nobody on and 1 out. And he's going to hit a fly ball. They got a good piece of it, but not enough as Reed Johnson gets underneath it and makes the catch for out number 2. And now Shane Victorino. 3-7, and that's another fly ball that Reed Johnson will shag out there. And so 1-2-3 inning, the Cubs get the Phillies to go down in order. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Let's see. The Phillies are going to go to their bullpen, so we'll be right back. Okay, so J.C. Romero will be given the ball here in the bottom of the 8th to pitch for the Phillies. They have Chad Durbin warming up in the pen, so Romero will face lefty Mike Fontenot to lead off here. The bottom of the 8th, and that is a 2-8, and that's going to be trouble for Romero. That is going to be a 1-6 double. That'll be a single. So since he wasn't well, they're going to see who will the Cubs bring out to pinch hit here. They're going to have Ronnie Cedeno pinch hit. So Phillies will make their move. We'll be right back. All right, so a little bit of manager trickery here. So they called Cedeno, announced him. So the manager came out and called for the righty Chad Durbin, and then they pulled back Cedeno and are going to bring in Jim Edmonds to pinch hit here for in place of Cedeno. So let's see what happens here with Fontenot at first and Edmonds at the plate. 6-6 lefty, and that is going to be a single to center. Fontenot is going to hold up there with nobody out. So now Reed Johnson. B. Bunter, they have to respect his hitting ability, so this will be a B bunting attempt. He's going to go ahead and lay it. Oh boy, and we got a potential wild pitch, 1-7. And it's a 4, so wild pitch is going to move the runners up. No need to bunt. And this inning is getting pretty intense here for the Phillies. Bottom of the 8th, second and third. Nobody out. They're going to play with the infield in now, and Reed Johnson at the plate. 3-8, and a single is going to score a run. So 8-4. And it looks like this game, any chance of a comeback is probably in dire straits right now, as the Cubs, well, they pinch hit for Marmol, so they're going to have to go to Wood probably to close out this game. But Derek Lee with first and third again. They're going to play with the infield back here. Or infield in, I mean, excuse me. One grounder to first base A. So the infield is in. Let me see. First and third A, infield in. Batter out, runner on third, hold. Okay, first goes to second. So now one out. It's going to be a U3, and everybody holds. But now something a little more pressing is that Derek Lee has an injury on that part of the card too. Now he is above the 600 threshold, so the injury chart is only going to partially apply to him, but for a playoff series, it could be big. So let's see what happens here. 18. Okay, he's going to have a 3-game injury, so he's going to be out until Game 5. So we're going to have to make. They're going to have to make amends for that. So we're going to have to put a little line here for Lee is out. Okay, so now Aramis Ramirez with 1 out and runners at second and third. They're going to have to play with the infield in again. Potential wild pitch. Can Durbin get screwed again by the guy? Nope, not this time. Doesn't get away from Ruiz this time. So Ramirez, 2-6, grounder to short A. Again, well, this time it might be different. It might be, yeah, I think everybody has to hold here. So, yeah, everybody holds. And so now they can play with, so let's see, 2-6 against, yeah, that's a grounder to short A. And so now Durbin can see his way out of this inning. Soto at the plate. They're playing with the infield back. 2 outs. And it's a 1-11 ballpark home run chance. As long as they don't get a 1-5, they're out of the inning. But a 1-5 is possible. And it's a 19, so that'll be caught by Burrell in left. They do get an insurance run. It looked like it was going to be more, but Durbin held down the fort. Now we got to figure out how we're going to switch up the Cubs here with another injury. This time to Derek Lee. We'll be right back. Okay, so they've lost Derek Lee, and I got to write this down here. So they lost Soriano. Game 2, Derek Lee through Game 5, or through Game 4, we'll say. Okay. So how they're going to address this, they're going to move DeRosa to first base from left. They're going to bring in Felix Paye to hit in Lee's spot and play center, and they're going to shove Reed Johnson over to left field here to finish out the game, and it'll be So Taguchi. 8-4 is the score here, top of the 9th. Kerry Wood in to try and close out this game. Not a save situation, but nonetheless, he's going to try and put the Phillies away and take Game 1 of this series. So here's So Taguchi. Batting from the right of 5-7. That's a fly ball to right field, caught by Fukudome, and that's out number 1. Carlos Ruiz against a righty 6-7, a grounder to second. Fontenot 2-E-4, 2-18. He gets to the ball and then he makes the play. And now Greg Dobbs' last chance saloon for the Phillies in Game 1. They'll go down 1-0. 1-5 and a potential double, potential home run. A 1 for a homer, otherwise it'll be a double. And that's a double for Dobbs, so hold on to your hats, folks. Got the top of the order coming up. And it's going to be Jimmy Rollins, still a 4-run lead for the Cubs. We'll see what happens. Hold the phones, hold the papers. You never know. Here comes Rollins, 4-8, batting from the left, and he strikes out, and that is your ball game. So no runs for the Phillies in the top of the 9th, 1 hit, and they're going to go down by a score of 8-4 to lead off this NLDS. The winner is going to be Ryan Dempster. He does go 5 innings. Loser's going to be Cole Hamels. So, let's see, 7-4. The hero is going to be, let's see, probably say Giovanni Soto, 2 for 5, but does get a crucial RBI in the 3rd. Could also be, well, Soriano gets injured, but it could have been Soriano. He was 2 for 4, scored twice till he got hurt. Derek Lee also with a good game until his injury. So Cubs are going to be dealing with a couple injuries. We're going to have to adjust their lineup. We may bring an emergency player in for Lee and just leave him out till the... and what would happen is if they somehow sweep, which is a possibility here, if they sweep, we're going to assume that because games 4 and 5 could potentially happen, but we didn't, and there would be a bit of a break, that Lee would become healthy for the next series. So that's how we'll play it. So we'll wrap up here just a second. So the Phillies go down by a score of 8-4 at Wrigley. As I just like to point out, I mean, I feel like things are pretty neutral for me in this case, mostly because things didn't happen. Okay, so let's explain it real quick. I've thought about it. I keep thinking about the way the Phillies replay went, and some of it I think is the fact that I knew that the Phillies should beat the other teams in the NL East, and the fact that they weren't was frustrating me at times. But having said that, I think we've gotten past that point. We're into a point now where we're doing something that is completely fictional. And so all of these results, I mean, maybe if the Cubs do face the Phillies in real life, maybe that becomes a whole different ball game. But now there's some injuries. We're using injuries off their cards. So, you know, that's going to change things up. You're going to have guys, you're going to probably have to use Darrell Ward at first. Which he's a pretty decent hitter, but he's not Derek Lee. And so Soriano, you're going to have to go with, you probably have to go with Reed Johnson in left and Edmonds in center, which is, again, I mean, Johnson's a fine hitter, but Soriano, iconic leadoff hitter over the years that he was active. And so we'll see if that has any change in things. So game 2, Zambrano will get the start for the Cubs on the mound. Obviously, he did in real life, while the Phillies will send Brett Myers out there, and I'll tell you what, Brett Myers has had a rough go of it. But so again, and like I was going to say, like I said earlier, but I just want to reiterate, Derek Lee, what we will do is we are going to make an emergency change. I'm going to try and find someone to take his place, at least to add some depth, because they're going to be losing 2 people. So Soriano, only for game 2, Soriano, but Lee, because he's going to be out potentially 3 games, we need to, I think we need to give them an extra bench player just to allow them to do some pinch hitting, pinch running, things like that. So I'll take a look at who they have in their reserves and who would have been available and see what makes sense. So anyway, that's the first game of this playoff project. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts on this. I know it may be pretty tough for the Cubs to endure injuries, but everybody's going to have the chances off their cards to have injuries pop up, and that's just the way we're going to play it from here on out. So, till next time, this is Tenacious Earl for the Tabletop Baseball Plus Network. We thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy your tabletop sports. God bless, and have a good one.